If after the show, please replace the speaker on its stand. If you accidentally break the cord, please turn the speaker in at the refreshment stand or the manager's office.
Everybody, listen carefully. The Martians are coming this way. We must evacuate the city. Take food and water and extra clothing with you.
You are no longer in control of your listening device.
Can't you see that you're at the mercy of every element of the universe?
Rick and Ryan will take you on a science fiction cinematic journey into the post-atomic space age.
I'm not going to cooperate with these monsters.
We found a flying saucer.
Just a minute, ladies and gentlemen. I think something is happening.
A chronological deep dive into the past.
Holy cow.
Put on your magnetic boots.
Let's go.
And strap yourselves in for your ride with...
The Unidentified Flying Podcast.
Here we are on the Alexa Proteus 4. Alright, I'm ready. Let's go and do this. I'm up. I'm awake. I have no idea what time it is because time doesn't exist out here.
It's space o'clock.
It's space o'clock.
QM. They don't have PM or AM. They have QM.
QM as in...
No, they have XM.
XM means no minute?
Yeah, for rocket ship. You get it? You get it?
Yeah. That's stupid.
All right. Well, hi, this is Rick. I'm aboard the Alexa Proteus 4, as you've noticed. And I'm here with my ever so negative co-star, Ryan Liskey. Hi, Ryan.
Yeah, I know. I didn't get a lot of sleep the last few months. So, I'm feeling all right now, so just bear with me. I'm trying some brain-boosting gummies provided to me by our robots in the kitchen, Ben and Jerry. So, I don't know. They make
and it costs that much money?
They make some good ice cream. You know, I always thought when I went to the museum and you buy that astronaut ice cream, I thought that's what we were gonna get here. But
no,
they've actually
we have to make our own with like heavy cream.
Yeah.
Ice and rock salt. Not rock salt.
Rock salt.
Yeah, something like that. It's one of them kind of salts.
The robots are taking care of it. They make a mean caramel chocolate cheesecake flavored ice cream that Ben and Jerry do. I'm glad we brought them aboard. Of all the robots, they're the two I dislike the least. So, thanks, Rick.
I know I did.
So, how you feeling, Rick? How are you feeling, Rick?
I'm all right. I'm running low on my chai tea.
Space tea.
My space tea.
So here we are, a year and a half in, about, in this journey through 1951. And we got a big one tonight. One of the pillars on which this era stands, which isn't just our opinion. It's kind of across the board that this is one of the standouts of the era. One of the what would be considered canon of cinematic science fiction works. So, what do we got, Rick?
Yes, Ryan, this is a pillar among pillars in a sea or field of pillars, okay? It might be the whole damn roof.
Field.
So,
do they grow pillars in a field?
This movie's so good, I am wearing a suit. I put my Sunday Finest on because this movie is like going to church. It's even going to be hard to be a little goofy and fun. Like, I almost have to be like, this is a serious Rick Reed. It's like, it's a very good film. You know, we almost have to be like that because the movie's that fucking good.
James Lipton.
And you've probably heard of it. So, but anyway, I got my Sunday Finest on. It's a suit. It's kind of more like it's like a tux even. I don't know. It's a suit. Scratch all that.
Wow.
I'm glad I wrote that gag down. Anyway.
Did you?
This movie, it's fantastic. But let's get into it. What do we got, Dr. Bob Freed?
It's the day the Earth stood still. Starring Michael Rennie, Patricia Neal, Hugh Marlowe, Sam Jaffe, and Billy Gray. Written by Edmund H. North and Harry Bates. Directed by Robert Wise. From 20th Century Fox.
One sunny afternoon in Washington, D.C., thousands of faces tilt upward, eyes gaping, jaws dropped as a giant spacecraft descends from the skies and lands on a baseball diamond. The army assembles and surrounds the craft, assuming this is nothing but bad news, naturally. Concerned citizens, however, throng the park, eagerly awaiting a glimpse of the visitors from outer space. You with me, Rick?
Yeah. Is this like from Reader's Digest?
After hours of anticipation, a figure emerges from the craft. He waves hello, he offers a gift, and immediately some numbnut soldier shoots him. The crowd gasps as a giant robot appears and proceeds to melt an assortment of guns and artillery with its laser eyes. He is stopped by his wounded companion, however, but the point has been made. Fuck around and find out. Well, shit. We're sorry, Space Dude, says the Army commander, and they whisk Space Dude off to the nearest hospital. Space Dude is actually a being named Klaatu, and his robot bodyguard is named Gort. Klaatu seems like a nice guy, but he's come to Earth with a warning. Stop warring with each other, or there will be dire consequences. Of course, the politicians and military won't listen, and so Klaatu escapes the hospital and decides to wander the city to watch and study the people of Earth. There he rents a room somehow, and quickly befriends a woman named Helen and her son Bobby. Helen is slightly wary of Klaatu, but not enough to say no when he volunteers to babysit Bobby while she runs errands. Why not, right? This was the 50s, and child predators did not exist. While out seeing the sights with Bobby, Klaatu hears about Professor Jacob Barnhart, a friend of Bobby's, I think. Anyway, Klaatu and Bobby show up at the prof's house, but find he's out. So they break into his office. There, Klaatu goes all goodwill hunting and solves an equation on the prof's blackboard. That'll get his attention, and it does. Impressed, the scientist invites Klaatu over later, and they discuss why the spaceman is here. The scientist agrees that yes, something must be done, so he decides to call a meeting of scientists from around the world where Klaatu will make his case. And to prove his powers, Klaatu cuts power to the Earth for a half an hour or so, except for the airplanes and hospitals, because he's not an asshole. However, while waiting for the scientists to gather, Klaatu is discovered by the army and they chase him around the city until gunning him down. Are you asking me what the hell, is that it? No! Can Gort be stopped before he destroys the entire world in retaliation for his slain master? Is Klaatu really dead? And will the people of Earth heed his warning and stop fighting like a bunch of children in a sandbox? Yes, no, and maybe?
Is that it?
Yeah.
Oh. No, that was beautiful. Hallelujah. That was, I was into it.
I put a little effort into the...
I was seeing the movie in my mind. Yeah, we kind of told you they have everything about the movie.
No.
But execution is everything, so.
We have been told by some listeners that you don't mind that we're...
Yeah, spoil it all. Who cares? Yeah.
Decades-old movies.
I'm never going to watch it. I just want to hear you. You guys are like the new Cliff Notes, man.
That's what we should do is start... We'll just print out what do you call them?
Yeah.
We'll print out the, fuck, I can't think of the word.
Synopsises?
No, we'll print out the, of the show. The,
flow?
No, you know at
show
the end
flow?
of, like, shows they used to
flow
go...
chart?
For of this telecast, please write...
The credits?
No, it's,
Or the editorial?
No!
What are you talking about?
A transcript. It's weird. But I think what we could do is print out transcripts of each of these episodes, put them in little bindings, staple them, and sell them as Cliff Notes. That's how we could make money off this podcast.
Honestly, this is actually a public service because we know I'm going to be nice. 50% of you out there probably aren't going to watch all these movies that we watch. And hopefully you're just, you just like hearing us talk about it. That's fine. That's great. So at least it's a record. You can be like, hey, you can lie to your after you listen. That's what the slogan should be. Unidentified Flying Podcast. After you listen to it, you can lie to your friends and make it sound like you've seen all these movies.
Sure.
Because that's how thorough we're going to give them to you.
At least tonight. Or at least in my plot synopsis.
That's how I'm taking it. But anyway, Day the Earth Stood Still.
Yes.
So, where do we go from here, Ryan?
I think I just said plenty. It's your turn.
All right. Okay. So, Day the Earth Stood Still. It is one of my absolute favorite movies of all time. This is, I would say, almost like, I don't want you to turn off the podcast, but this is kind of I don't know. I almost think this is the end of the road. Like this, as far as, it doesn't get any better than this movie, really. It gets maybe right below it. So it's still, it rubs shoulders with this movie, but this movie is kind of, as Macho Man Savage would say, the cream of the crop. And
Macho Man said that?
Yes, the cream of the crop.
He's the one that came up with that. He invented that.
Well, he didn't come up with it, but he did say it.
Invented the smiley face T-shirt. Is that what?
That's exactly what happened. I guarantee it.
So really, you think this was where it should stop?
No, no, because there's so many good movies still. But I just see this movie as like, it's kind of like like what I would say for horror movies, The Exorcist is. It's kind of like it's the best we got, folks. This is what, if a real life alien came down and said, "What's the dopest sci-fi movie?" This is the one you show them. It's like, this is the best we got. It's Day the Earth Stood Still. Watch it. It's the original, not with Keanu Reeves. So check it out. And we'd probably have world peace. But anyway, it's great.
You wouldn't show them one of the more peaceful alien movies like E.T. or Arrival or
it's not
Close Encounters.
We're in the 50s right now, dude. We're in the 50s.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna show him this over like the flying saucer.
I'm talking about the 50s. No, because I would say this movie's a better movie than Close Encounters, even though I love Close Encounters to death. Don't get me wrong. One of my favorite movies of all time. But okay, maybe it's not. I mean, they're both. Whatever. Don't make me pick between them like that.
I didn't actually, because
So, anyway, let's talk about Day the Earth Stood Still.
Talk about it.
Well, what do you want to know, Ryan?
Just talk.
Ask me a question. I'll tell you everything.
Tell me, just talk about Day the Earth Stood Still.
All right, Day the Earth Stood Still.
No, I'm nuts.
It's a fantastic movie, and Robert Wise directed it, this is like one of his earliest movies, and went on, of course, to do West Side Story and Star Trek The Motion fucking Picture.
Rooftops.
But,
Rooftops with Jason Gedrick.
Rooftops? Oh, how could I forget Rooftops?
Exactly.
Hi, I'm Jason Gedrick, and I'm not going to hype you. I just want to say that I'm in a new movie called Rooftops, and it's got a lot going for it, and I think you should check it out.
Yeah, how old were you? When did you first see this movie?
I first saw this on VHS when I was in 8th or 9th grade. Was the first time. Although prior to that, I had seen clips on various, shows, or whenever they do those clip shows where they'd have like Vincent Price host it, and
where they have clips.
Yeah, the clips, the shows with the clips.
Clips of shows,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, and there was sometimes shows of clips.
And movie clips.
And one of the clips that they showed eclipsed all the other clips, and that was the eclipse for Day the Earth Stood Still. And so I knew about it, but didn't get a chance to watch the entire thing until my mother rented it for me from a Rite Aid pharmacy in Caledonia, Michigan, and surprised me with it while I was at tennis practice after school. Had my brother come up to me and say, "Mom rented you a movie," and I was like, "Oh," thinking, "Holy crap! She's finally rented like Nightmare on Elm Street 3 for me to watch. She's given in. And
Hard Bodies 2, here I come.
And I was like, ooh, what is it? And he goes, I don't know, something called The Day Things Went Quiet. And I was like, oh, The Day the Earth Stood Still. And he goes, yeah. And he just kind of walked away. It was my jock brother, Matt. So that must have been, I mean, that was the late 80s. So that would have been maybe one of the first of these that I had seen come to home video. Because,
oh, okay.
You know what I mean? I don't know when the major studios started re-releasing a lot of their catalog titles on home video.
Their older catalog.
Because I know at first home video was all about the new release. But
it was late 80s, though.
So, yeah, this might have been the first time a movie of this kind, was not seen on TV or cable, but a video. You know what I mean? So it's the first one of these, what we call vintage movies, I would have seen on a videotape that was rented and not just duped off TV.
I think I saw it duped off TV.
So a recording someone else may.
It's my uncle's favorite sci-fi movie, so I heard him talking about it a lot, and I think he got it on tape from TV, and I watched it then, because I was into War of the Worlds and all that stuff. And as I've gotten older and really appreciated, like, especially Bernard Herrmann, because the music's fantastic.
Mm-hmm. 634 is 168 and 9.
Okay, I got to time it now. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more. That was good. I mean,
34 is 168.
The beginning wasn't too good. Once more.
That scene when okay, you were talking about when, Klaatu gets shot because admittedly, the thing like he brings out, like he's coming out of the spaceship. Everyone's seeing him for the first time.
We have come to visit you in peace and with goodwill.
This is like the first meeting of man and man from another world. And he walks up, and it's very eerie and cool, and he goes for something in his pocket and pulls it out, and it looks like a weapon. Then when they shoot him,
it was a gift for the president to help him study the stars.
Yeah. But to be fair, the gift has a button that he hits. These spike things come out of it, like it's like almost like it's like a space switchblade.
Yeah, it is a little.
So it does look like Klaatu was walking up like he was one of the gutter cats. Like cheek, they're gonna have a rumble.
Although I think nowadays, here in 2020, whatever, if somebody was to come out of space and flash that at a bunch of people, I think nowadays they just assume it was a sex toy. Because
it looks like it's like a speculum.
Have you seen some of the shit people? You worked at Amazon for a while.
Oh, no, yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, like alien cocks and stuff like this, and predator dicks, and that's when I realized I was old. When I was looking at that, and I'm just going like, okay, I've been around the block. I'm no prude, man. I've watched my share of a lot of porn, but like the fact that like cosplay and geekdom of nowadays that I'm not really a part of had taken over even porn.
Oh God, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Where I'm like, it's just ridiculous. I didn't think a woman out there wanted to like fuck a Metroid dick or something. I don't know. Anyway, you're taking me down the wrong path, Ryan. My favorite scene, though, one of my favorite like hard cuts to anything is that when they shoot Klaatu, and it's that low angle of him laying on the ground and he's bleeding, and the in one shot, the army military, they kind of creep into the frame towards him to like see, carefully see, is he okay or whatever, and then the couple of the officers look up and everyone kind of gets that like almost like reaction first to what you're seeing, and then they smash cut to just Gort. Gives me like goosebumps every time. It's so good.
Yeah. I would say.
And Gort comes out and just fucks everybody up, zaps all the guns, and it's like back the fuck off.
I think that Gort's entrance is right up there with the Thing's first entrance.
Yeah. Yes.
Like as far as iconography,
it's so good.
As far as just a perfect reveal.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two at the tops. That's why this one and the Thing are really pillars of this, holding up the Parthenon of what is 50s sci-fi cinema. Who cares?
Parthenon?
Who cares? I just outdid you on the middle.
Were you saying Pantheon?
Parthenon.
Is that a real word?
Yeah, dummy. It's the big thing in Rome, Greek or Rome.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, so I outdid you on the metaphor of describing this decade in terms of Greek mythology and architecture.
Gotcha.
It's one of the pillars.
But talking about Gort, they couldn't find anybody, because it had to be very tall, very menacing. So they found a doorman at Grauman's Chinese Theater named Locke Martin, who was 7'7", and they cast him as Gort to be in the suit. And even then, it still wasn't tall enough, so they padded it out around. So like, and it's hard to tell, but like, so Gort is really about like 8 feet plus.
Yeah.
So it's huge. But unfortunately, the guy the 7 foot tall guy, I don't know what it's like to be 7 foot tall, but I imagine the shit kind of hurts. It's not really natural to be 7'7", so he had health issues where he was actually not very strong and he was frail. So there's a lot of scenes where like he's having to carry like Patricia Neal or people around him or do things and they have to kind of like steady him up and rig it a certain way so he could carry him. But it also made it hard for him to just like stand in the suit all the time. So like at the end, there's a part where when Klaatu's delivering his verbal beatdown to everybody, like the guy was losing feeling in his hand, and it's supposed to be like a solid statue. When Gort's like inoperative, he's like he's a robot, he's shut down. But you can see like his arms swaying every once in a while or twitch because he was starting to lose feeling because that scene was taking like all day, so he had to actually be in the suit all day because it was such a big scene. And it's Michael Rennie who plays Klaatu, his big scene in that speech. So it was an all day shoot.
I heard an interesting story though that there was a young Belgian actor, kung fu specialist, who originally signed on to play the monster in this. But when he got there, he realized the suit was way too big, so they had to fire him. And that's how they got this guy.
Huh.
Yeah, he was...
they had to find it. That's how they got this other guy.
I don't know, some Jean-Claude Van Damme or something.
Oh, I get it, like Predator. Well, that was very out there. I didn't know you were going that route.
I thought just saying Belgian actor right away would, you're doing Predator.
No, I was like, but I was honestly thinking, going, I don't know what he's talking about because I didn't see that anywhere.
Folks, this is what happens when you write brilliant comedy for yourself, and your right hand man or left hand man, whatever the hell you
has
are,
no idea what
has
you're doing.
no idea how to respond to good comedy writing.
But you don't know, because that was good comedy. It was in the real realm of what you could have read. I didn't know what you were talking about. Predator. Anyway, that would have been interesting if he was Gort.
Who? Jean-Claude Van Damme?
That's all I got.
He wasn't even born
but
yet.
you know, but you'd be able to tell immediately because Gort would have this little metal bump dent in the corner of his head. It would be kind of interesting.
Jean-Claude Van Damme wasn't even born yet.
I know.
So he couldn't have played. He could play him in the remake, even though Gort in the remake was a CGI. He could have played him. He could have done the voice.
Yeah, because Gort doesn't talk. But hey,
Klaatu.
It's like, where's Klaatu? What's this Klaatu? I like Klaatu. See the symbol of the Gort.
Hey, why do all your friends call you Chance, Klaatu?
My mama took one.
And Gort punches a snake.
Every year, I have to remind myself that Jean-Claude Van Damme bites the tail of a snake.
No, he punches it in the face.
And then punches it.
Jean-Claude Van Damme once punched out a snake.
That's the best. No, and you know what? That's like the last of, I think, probably, the best like puppet snakes of all time. Because after that, you get cartoon snakes and everything.
Yeah.
But that's a goddamn Jim Henson snake from Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas coming up over his shoulder. It's outrageous. Anyway, I digress.
Van Damme.
The Gort suit. I'm just saying the Gort suit because you know that thing's like all foamed out.
Yeah.
I just feel like that had to be the hottest suit in the world to wear.
Possibly, although I heard stories that that on the set of Unknown Island, which was in the late 30s, the guys that had to get in the dinosaur suits and stand on stilts. And
oh my God.
They actually have one of the actors in the background of one scene faints on camera. But they left it in like as it getting shot.
Just falling over in the background. That's hilarious.
I'm not making this up. And I think they have they filmed somebody firing a gun and then they used. Well, because
they put the sound effects in.
It was such a cheap movie. It was a cheap movie, so they had to use every inch of footage they shot. And they were like, well, he fainted, but we'll use it. Anyway, that footage was also recycled into Godzilla Raids Again.
Dope.
Those are the famous dinosaurs with floppy front arms.
Oh, those are well, pretty much look like those air-filled suits that you see now with the floppy arms.
Those are very early primitive dinosaur effects, which we're not doing in the 30s and 40s, so I'm not going to get into it, but it's a pretty good movie. But yeah, that's some famous footage, and I was wondering if that head was what the guy in Gort's suit felt like.
That's
that's where I'm going with that. Anyway, so Gort.
So yeah, in the Gort suit, there was two suits. Well, there was one like a solid statue that would stand there for certain times and whatnot. And the reason they couldn't use that one for the end because all he does during the Klaatu's speech is stand there.
Yeah.
So, why didn't they use the statue one? But they had built the statue one's feet straight to stand straight. And Klaatu's ship up there is at an angle. So imagine if it was standing there, it would be like leaning over the whole time, like at a weird angle. So that's why he had to like stand for this, which is outrageous.
It's so ridiculous. Like it almost, it's almost like knowing that it's gonna forever change that scene for me. But
no, it's too good. But like, that's
not only
crazy.
that shot, but I love that part when, like I said at the beginning, Klaatu gets gunned down and Gort finds out, and they just cut to Gort with his eye opening, and that music kicks in again. It's like Gort's second big moment in this movie, where it's like, oh shit, he's hasn't got word to shut down. He's gonna destroy the world, because before Klaatu dies, or supposedly dies, he says to Patricia Neal's character, if something happens to me, find Gort and say Klaatu Barada Nikto. And she's like, okay, repeat it. Yeah, it's a Klaatu. They have that whole scene, and then he dies, and then so it's a race to get to Gort to say those words before he destroys everybody.
Yeah.
And there's that great scene before, that I was just describing. That whole sequence is probably my favorite. And
it's really good. It's one of the first movies like shot on location too. Like they're really outside and stuff. They're not like on a set anywhere.
One of the best, most striking special effects in the movie is Patricia Neal's eyes, because they are perpetually wide open and in shock and or awe.
I love her. Before we get into her, I have two more things about the suit.
Okay, just go.
One thing that's kind of crazy about the suit is that, because they had to pad it out so it would be bigger, so the guy's head really only comes to about the neck, and the only way he can see is through these prisms, or like there's holes under the chin that he can see out of, but he can only see like ahead of him a little. So they put these little prisms in there so it can kind of reflect a little, and he kind of see a little bit farther ahead, but he can't see shit in there. First of all, he can't hold himself up in the suit without being a little weak, but at the same time, he can't see at all, which is crazy in that suit. But I was saying we were talking about the giant statue before I got onto how he was standing on the platform. And then there was two suits. There's one with the zipper up the front for all the rear shots, and then there's one with the zipper in the back for the front shots. And
so he'd be seamless.
The only thing that they could never get around and they were worried about is his knees, the back of his knees. Because when he walks, the foam it bulges out like a pant leg, And it's fine, whatever, I don't care, But yeah, that was just something kind of crazy about Gort with the suit. But you were talking about Patricia Neal.
Oh, I was done with Patricia Neal.
Dude, but her eyes are amazing. Yeah. Her eyes look like that all the time anyway, She's got beautiful
No, it's just
eyes.
that scene where she finds Gort and she's about to warn him, but she's so hypnotized by him. And I was just like...
And it's like from Gort vision.
Yeah, and I'm just like... This was probably the scene she auditioned and won the role for, was just showing how her eyes would look in that scene. Because the rest of it, like, well, can you act too? Like, yeah, sure. Okay, but we want those eyes in this scene.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, she had worked with Robert Wise before for quite a bit, and she worked with him. I know, I'm just saying it for the folks out there. All kidding aside, yeah, and I just love her. I think she's such a good actress. Like, I love her, and she's fantastic in Face in the Crowd. And she lived to be like, I mean, she lived up into like almost like the late 90s, I think, or something like that. But she was also like in Harm's Way with John Wayne, main woman in that, the lead actress. And she, I guess, reportedly said in interviews that like she she thought the movie was like a joke the whole time. Like she had no idea, because she couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah.
I found it so difficult to keep a straight face when I would say Gort, Clato, Barato, Nicto. And I thought it was hysterical, and the whole thing I thought was so funny. And I know that Michael Rennie, who was the lead in our good film, he would say to me, excuse me, do you intend to laugh there? And I would say, no, I don't intend. Robert Wise, he was so good to me because I seldom laughed in a take, but I did sometimes. I thought it was the most hysterical thing I'd read. I mean, really. But it turned out to be just a fabulous film.
She probably saw Conrad Mickle's movie and thought this was going to be another flying saucer movie like that.
I guarantee you.
And it wasn't until she saw the movie that she realized how amazing the movie was.
I guarantee you that's what happened. Because, think about it. Even if she'd seen Destination Moon or Rocket Ship or Man from Planet X, you'd be like, oh, well, those are...
Something more prestigious with Dick Wesson.
Maybe, Man from Planet X is maybe a little sketchy on the B side, but... You know what? These don't look half bad. But if you saw only the flying saucer, then yeah. So fuck.
Or even the Thing.
Fuck Conrad Mickle.
Yeah. So
Conrad Mickle wins the Conrad Mickle Award for being a douche and almost scaring this Patricia Neal away from The Day the Earth Stood Still. Way to go, Mickle.
Yeah, but I don't blame Conrad. I've really warmed up to Conrad Mickle. I think he's just a working class Joe. I would like to, kind of like William Shatner wanting extra money to finish Star Trek V, I kind of wish Conrad Mickle got extra money to finish Flying Saucer. See what he could have done with it someday. Which I did notice, just to go back on, because I watched it again. And I didn't notice the first time. There's this wild shot in Flying Saucer where they're walking up to the shore and there's a boat that has left them behind. Yeah. And they cut to the boat and it's totally a toy miniature boat with people that are totally motionless figures, like action figures that are just standing
glued
there.
to the boat.
And I was like, oh man. And then they cut back to Conrad Mickle, and then they cut back to the boat again, and then it's like little claymation people walking around. I was like, oh! It's like, wow. It was like Thomas the Tank Engine for a bit.
I tell you, the Flying Saucer is like an onion, man.
It keeps giving.
You just keep peeling and peeling. And
I don't get it because it's not interesting, but
it might perhaps
I've watched it
be the greatest film of all time.
Also in the cast is because you said, Klaatu rents a room. Yeah. I don't know how. Clearly he didn't need a license or anything.
No, I just wondered where he got the money from.
Yeah. Oh, no, because he's got diamonds.
Oh, that's right. He has diamonds.
Yeah, he has
He's
diamonds.
He's like that one chick that shines bright like a diamond.
Diamond in the sky. Whatever.
That's Rihanna.
Yeah.
Shines bright like a diamond. Anyway.
She should have went by the name Prince S.
Shut up.
Anyway. So he goes and rents he goes to the inn to rent a room, and that's where Helen is, who is played by
yes, Helen and Bobby. We covered all this.
And Helen and Bobby and her son Bobby. She's got a boyfriend played by Hugh Morrow, who just pops in and out to be a jerk.
He's an asshole.
And
he might be the biggest dick in this movie.
Yeah, he's a dick. Yeah. He is an asshole in it. But anyway,
I mean, you can at least understand the political and military reaction, but his is just pure greed. So that's what makes him the worst character in the movie.
There's a few people staying at the inn already when Klaatu arrives, and one of those people is Frances Bavier, good old Aunt B from Andy Griffith's Show. So it's great to see her in the movie for a little bit.
George, would you turn that radio off? I'm trying to concentrate.
Why doesn't the government do something? That's what I'd like to know.
What can they do? They're only people, just like us.
People my foot. They're Democrats.
The spaceman, or whatever he is, we automatically assume he's a menace. Maybe he isn't at all.
And what's he hiding for? Why doesn't he come out in the open?
Yeah, like that Heater fellow says. What's he up to?
Maybe he's afraid.
He's afraid.
Hey, mister, can I help you look for the spaceman? I know just what he looks like. He's got a big square head with 3 great big eyes.
That's enough, Bobby.
The actor who plays her son, he's probably about, I would say 12 or so in the movie, but that was an actor named Billy Gray who went on to be on Father Knows Best. His mother was a very famous actress, Beatrice Gray. And what's interesting, at least what I found about Billy Gray, is he ended up marrying Donna Wilkes, which is the girl who played Angel in the first Angel movie.
Oh, wow, really?
And she's also Jackie in Jaws 2, the girl that's screaming all the time in Jaws 2.
Yeah.
Donna Wilkes.
Okay.
Yeah, I love her. And yeah, he married her, and he was 21 years her senior at the time. They were married for a good 5 or 6 years or so.
May-December romance.
But yeah, I what a random thing that the kid from Daily or Sit Still grew up to marry the girl from Jaws.
Wow,
too.
that's something.
It just was interesting. But yeah, an interview I saw with him, he actually said that he swiped some of the diamond props that they gave because Klaatu. Remember, Klaatu's like, "Will this be enough?" and gives him 3 diamonds, and he's like, "Oh shit!"
I wish the heck I'd have held on to the little diamonds that, because I did sneak some away, and I had them for a while. And I don't know what happened to them. I guess it was the diamonds that Michael Rennie had. As I guess they used it as money in their universe or whatever it was, and. The prop guy always tried to get him right back right after the shot, but I managed to sneak some away. I wish I had him right now. One thing that I do remember is Michael Rennie had a particularly, I don't know if I wouldn't call it intense maybe, but bordering on intense, interest in my mother. He was forever getting her coffee, and they were, I don't know, I can't say what happened, but I have a feeling that there was more there than met the eye, and yes, they were very friendly. And he was an awfully nice fellow. I don't remember anything specific about working with him other than it was just effortless.
Yeah, and I mean, let's talk about Michael Rennie. Sadly he didn't do a lot. I mean, he did, but what a movie that seems like would have launched him.
Sure.
Because he's so good as Klaatu. And, luckily they went with him because they do you know, I'm sure you ran into it, but who originally Daryl Zanuck wanted for the role of Rennie, Michael Rennie or Klaatu?
No.
He wanted Spencer Tracy.
Really?
And it does. Yeah, and he gave.
What?
He was he called the producer in, who's the saint of the movie. The producer was Julian Blaustein, and he's kind of the saint of this movie. Really was the believer since day one, and really pushed for a lot. But he called Daryl Zanuck called him all excited because he never interfered with casting and stuff. But one time he was like, "Okay, look, I never do this, but." You got to come in here. I got some great news. And he's like, I gave the script to Spencer Tracy, and he loves it.
And I remember silence. And he says, "What's the matter?" And I said, "Daryl, it's all wrong. If that spaceship opens up and this character steps off and walks down the ramp, we already had a design of the spaceship based on known facts about space travel, which were limited facts, but like flying saucers and the physics of levitation in space, getting it off the ground. So that's where we got the design. I said, if the character steps off and it's Spencer Tracy, there's no credibility there's no suspense about what's going to go on. We know Spencer Tracy's a movie actor, and okay, we'll accept it. Anyway, obviously, I talked him out of it.
Actually, Robert Wise had someone else in mind that they were gonna go with that I would say still is not great if you're going with someone like, because Spencer Tracy like that. But I would say this is a better choice. Claude Rains. And I'm like, that would have been hot in its own weird way,
Yeah.
But he was not available. So that's when they found Michael Rennie.
Okay.
And luckily they did, because he's so good in the role. Like even weird little gestures where he doesn't move his arms when he walks.
Yeah.
And shit like that,
Well, he played in the next decade, in 1968, actually. He was in a movie called The Power with George Hamilton.
Oh, okay.
That's it's best described by my friend Tom Shannon as Scanner's Light. But there is a scene involving a fly swatter in there that is worth the price of admission. He also did, and I want to bring this one up because I just watched this in the past year or so, from 1966, called Cyborg 2087. And it's a real cheapy movie made at the tail end of the 60s, but it's basically the Terminator. Michael Rennie gets sent back in time.
Oh man,
as a cyborg.
amazing.
Yeah, like there's a lot of similarities to Terminator in it, and I watched.
He would be great in something like that.
he plays basically the Terminator, only a lot cheaper and a lot nicer.
Wow.
But that's Cyborg 2087.
That's amazing.
So maybe if we ever do another voyage and go back to the 60s, we can talk about that one more in depth. So that's a couple other sci-fi movies he did. He also was in that, in 1960, he was in The Lost World, which was the one where they colorized, or it was a color film, not colorized, but shot in color of dinosaurs, but they used the same old glue the fins to the reptiles bullshit.
Isn't that Hammer?
No.
Is it Hammer?
It's got Claude Rains in it.
Hammer did the... No, but Hammer did the
Lost Continent.
One of those where it was the Lost Continent.
Yeah.
That's right. Hammer did that one. Okay.
Irwin Allen did the Lost World.
Okay.
So it's got all the big Irwin Allen touchstones, but the dinosaurs are just reptiles with fins glued to their backs. So it's really
and
it's actually a pretty shitty movie. But he's in that, so he has a couple sci-fi.
Oh, dude.
And one of my all-time.
And he's got more. He's got two more.
Well, I was gonna say one of my favorite film noirs he's in with James Mason, and that's Five Fingers.
Oh, really?
Yes, that is.
Oh, I've checked that out. I've never seen
excellent
that.
film noir. And if you love James Mason, and you like crime,
I do,
and shitty people being shitty to each other, then that describes all film noir movies, but. Yeah, Five Fingers is pretty dope. But yeah, I know what you're gonna say. There's a couple more appearances he's made in some sci-fi related stuff. So
yeah, television specifically. He's in a very good episode of Outer Limits that I really like. But then he's also in I want to say it's called The Keeper. It's a two-parter of Lost in Space, and he's good in that.
Okay.
Really good. Michael Rennie's great. He's really good in anything, and I kind of look forward. I'm really looking forward to that film noir. I can imagine him being great in those kind of movies because he's got such a. He's not. It's weird to describe. He's not cold demeanor, but that's why he was great as Klaatu. There is a certain stiffness and foreignness to him.
Yeah.
Like I would say, a movie that is almost maybe played for laughs more, at least some of the moments are of him being misplaced in our world, but he's not all that unlike how I thought like this movie is almost reminded of like John Carpenter's Starman.
Okay.
Like just being kind of curious and like what there's a shot that's just so weird. It's subtle, well, the shot isn't subtle, but like it's the classic moment when everyone's playing like bridge or whatever, and they're all hanging out in the inn, and Klaatu arrives, and they all turn to look at, and it's just, he's like totally backlit, and it's just like you could cut it out with a razor, just his shadow line around, and it's just, he's just shrouded in shadow, and he looks amazing. It's so dope. But when the light turns on and reveals him, it's so slight, but there is a look of like, not confusion in his eyes, but his eyes kind of dart to the side real quick while he's looking around. And it's just subtle, but it almost feels like he's taking in information.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's just a weird moment where he just kind of glances around. And I don't know, it's just something I picked up on. I might be crazy, but like, I just thought that was cool. He's just so good in it. I even like the part where he meets the scientist.
You wrote this?
It was a clumsy way to introduce myself. But I understand you're a difficult man to see. I thought you'd have the solution by this time.
Not yet. That's why I wanted to see you.
All you have to do now is to substitute this expression at this point.
Yes, that will reproduce the first order term. But what about the effect of the other terms?
Almost negligible. With variation of parameters, this is the answer.
How can you be so sure? Have you tested this theory?
I find it works well enough to get me from one planet to another. I am Klaatu.
And it's kind of smart that he's like, yeah, well, I'll go to the scientists instead. But as 2020 proved, people aren't going to listen to him anyway. You know, when they're scientists. So it's nothing new that the scientists think they can help humanity and get rejected by everybody. But I do want to say, as an aside, one other film, other science fiction film Michael Rennie's in, and I've actually seen this, and I forgot about it just up until this moment, but it's the strange Spanish, German, Italian co-production from 1970 called Assignment Terror, and it's about these aliens that come from a dying world to, you know, take over Earth, and in order to do so, they think the best thing to do is kill people with their own superstitions. So they like resurrect these two scientists, and then the scientists reanimate various Earth monsters from folklore, like werewolf, Frankenstein's monster, the mummy, Dracula. And so it's an all-out like monster fest where these monsters,
it's a science fiction
are controlled
universal
by
monster movie.
Yeah, they're controlled by aliens. And I think like Michael Rennie might be one of the few Americans in the cast. I could be wrong about that, but like Paul Nashi's in it, and it's just weird. It's pretty odd, but it's a lot of fun because it's just, you could tell they had very little money, and it's just so like, well, let's get an American star in this. How about Michael Rennie? Sure. And you know, he plays one of the doctors. So anyway, check that one out.
That's insane.
Assignment Terror.
Yeah, I'll make some notes.
Yeah, because that's
next time we're in the video watch sector.
Yeah.
The Planet Blockbuster or wherever.
Fuck Planet Blockbuster.
But you know what? Planet Blockbuster really sucks.
It does.
They are lame. They don't have anything. They censor their moons. It's weird. Yeah.
Planet Video Time all the way.
Anyway, yeah. I'll have to check that out.
Do it. So let's talk about, we should briefly discuss the remake.
No, not yet. There's a lot more on this one yet before we get there.
Wow, this could be a long one. So we haven't even gotten to the.
But it'll be good.
We haven't even gotten to the story.
Yeah, we have. You told the story.
This.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's going to be a good one. Hey, you know what? Maybe two-parted then.
Hey,
it's great. What's cool is that they don't really go overtly with a romantic direction, which is kind of like because when you do that, you kind of have Starman, you know?
Yeah.
Which is kind of amazing how close these movies are in a certain way.
Oh, sure.
Not that they have the same message, but originally, there was significant dialogue that Klaatu and Helen Benson had that got cut because there was a lot more indications of them becoming more attracted to each other. And then, you know, like he actually says to her, like, he's Klaatu's a little bummed at how much he's going to miss her and her son, you know, and it was difficult to leave. So yeah, they were gonna go a little into that area, but they cut it all out.
Thank fucking Christ.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, because it's just good enough the way it is. Because you do get a sense of it, but it's just through glances.
See, and I don't even get a sense that it's so much even a romantic attraction as it is.
No, maybe not romantic, but a partnership.
Yeah, like a real intellectual partnership.
The way Klaatu looks at her at the end, I mean, she is his savior the whole time, you know, and like. She was the instrument of him delivering them. I mean, there's just that shared moment. I love the look he gives her and the little smile she gives back.
But in what I like about it is it kind of, it makes him even more of an alien being, because I think
I don't want him to have hornball
it's just,
feelings.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that an alien would show up and like, oh yes, I too am attracted to this, and it's like that. That just doesn't make sense. So having him kind of be not necessarily asexual, but probably asexual, we don't even understand because he's not from here.
Because
I like
we're
that.
Completely different creatures to him. So it's just like if I went to another planet, I'm saying it's going to take more than a day or two before I start picking out things I want to fuck.
Unless they look like Iman in Star Trek 6.
That's fine, you know, okay. But I'm saying if it's like, if I don't get what any of the... Well, but maybe, because... I mean, Klaatu's people looked like, I guess, people, so maybe. But anyway.
Well, you know, let's just say I'm glad they did not feel the need to bother with a sort of, you know, prosaic, earthbound type romantic subplot, because that would have just
the only concession they actually did have to make was the fact that originally there's a line in the movie that they lost out to because it indicates, you know, like she says something to him when they because in the movie there's a point where Klaatu has to figure out, okay, how do I get these motherfuckers to listen to me for a minute and get all the right people in the same spot. So him and the scientist devise, well, you know, I'll come up with some sort of test or some sort of act of power. And that's where the title kind of comes from, is like Klaatu for a half hour stops everything, like all the machines. And you had mentioned that earlier. Oh, there's a part where she says something about, I don't know if they're talking about resurrection or whatever, because of the fact that at one point Klaatu gets injured and he's sort of resurrected. And he makes there's a line about, no, I'm not all powerful. That's reserved for the Almighty Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And they hated that line because of the fact that, like, it wasn't what they want. You know, it was, the idea was that no, these are almost these could be the angels. These could be the higher power, this race. But it put Klaatu on equal footing that, okay, we have to have the Christian God over everything.
Yeah.
And they lost that battle because at the time they just had to put it in the movie. It was the one thing they didn't want to.
Well, but that's going to get into something that I need to bring up in a minute. But
Okay. Of course, this movie, you know, the kind of cancellation words or the shut off phrase for Gort that she has to deliver is Klaatu Verada, or I always say Verada because I always thought it was with a V, but it's B.
Think of them as safe words.
Yeah, they're safe words, and it defuses Gort so he doesn't go through with the plan of like, all right, it's time. If you're not back, I'm going to kill everybody. I'm going to zap the planet. But there was a lot of speculation on what, you know, how that language was actually came up with, and what it is like the writer, what's his name? I know his last name was North. Edmund North. Is it Edmund North who wrote? He was the screenwriter. said, what is this Gort Klaatu or Klaatu Barada Nikto? And he just, it's just something I came up with. I thought it sounded good. And, but there's been all this speculation on what the words actually translate to, like if he got it from some sort of language. And there was like a alien language specialist that did like a documentary on the phrase.
Yeah.
And like the language, it was an article in 1978 called "The Language of Klaatu," and he's like, there's translations where it's like, one translation could be "Stop barbarism, I have death bind."
Yeah, he's bound to death.
That is the literal, and then the the other translation is "I die, repair me, do not retaliate."
Mm-hmm.
Which is just, those kind of sound weird. Someone claimed that the writer said to him that the words meant there is hope for Earth if the scientists can be reached.
That doesn't.
So
I don't like that.
Another interpretation. I don't like that. I like the first part.
It doesn't make sense though.
Yeah.
I think the one is rough.
None of these are
as rough as it sounds. I think that one is really good. The don't retaliate one.
Yeah, stop barbarism, or no? Was
the second one?
The do not the do not retaliate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's what makes sense in the context of what the movie does. So, but nicely, Robert Wise, when he was awarded in 97 at the Lifetime Achievement Award at the American Film Institute, he actually ended his acceptance speech with Klaatu Barada Nektu, which tonight means thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I was like, oh, that's really sweet.
Yeah.
But and of course, famously, that phrase, if you ask, probably, sadly, and I'm not saying I'm a jerk. I liked it when it was in the movie and I saw it first, but sadly, if you ask 10 people, 90% of the people you ask are going to say that's from Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
Like that it's because Sam Raimi is also a fan of the film and used it for Bruce Campbell. And yeah, it's funny, but it's one of those things where it irks me too if someone like tries to tell me that it's like, that's not from that. Because that, man, that shit means a lot more to this movie, Day the Earth Stood Still. And it's such a classic. It's like,
yeah. Well,
it just irks me. One of the things we haven't brought up is that this movie, the script was based on original story, Farewell to the Masters, and for that, I'm going to turn it over to you and lay it on me. What's up with that?
So, sorry, I thought you were going to go off a little more, so I ate a chip. So yes, this film was based on a short story / novelette. I don't know, it's somewhere in between there, because it's kind of like a Stephen King short story where it's like 90, 100 pages long, but it's still a short story. But I think those are technically called novelettes, not novellas, but who gives a shit, right? So it's called Farewell to the Master by Harry Bates. And it's, I honestly, at this point in time, do not remember exactly where it was first published, but it has been published a lot, like anthology after anthology.
I think it was in a magazine.
Oh no, it was in a magazine for sure. I've just
it was
kind of
like
drawn a blank.
I can't remember what it was either.
I think it might have been. Hold on, we can just fix this.
Just keep talking. I'm going to look it up.
Okay, it was first published in an issue of Astounding Science Fiction.
That's right. Yep.
So it was published in 1940. Did I say that?
No.
Anyway, so it took. I just said anyway again. It was published in 1940, and of course, would 11 years later be translated to the screen, adapted for the screen, I should say, and it's very interesting to read this story because I read it years ago for the first time, and kind of, it's one of those stories that once you read it, after you've seen the movie so many times, the story does stick in your head because of how different it is. So that you're always thinking to yourself whenever you watch Day the Earth Stood Still afterwards, like, oh, that's not what happens in the anyway, it's one of those weird things.
Yeah.
But so it's kind of like it's been in my head forever, even though I haven't reread it in years, but I finally reread it recently. And it's quite different. Like and there's some people that say that the movie was more inspired by this story than based on it, because they go in such drastic differences,
wildly different directions.
Although the themes are the same and the general setup is the same, I would say it's a lot more different than Day the Earth Stood Still than like Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep is from Blade Runner. Like that one's almost closer to the movie than this is to Day the Earth Stood Still.
This one is?
Because this is another one of those famous, kind of like the Android is, famous short stories that became a legendary science fiction movie. And, are they the same kind of thing? But that's sort of in literary circles. And it is different, but I've got to say it's pretty damn good. Like it's on its own terms, it's really fascinating little piece of science fiction. The biggest differences are that Gort is not called Gort, he is called Newt, G-N-U-T. So I don't know if it's Newt or Gnut, but they changed that. And the biggest difference is, as soon as Klaatu comes out of the ship in this one, he's shot and killed on the spot.
Yeah.
And Gort shuts down, or Gnut, or whatever his name is in the story. So he shuts down and they build a museum around him because humans instantly realize, oops, that wasn't cool. And so they bury Klaatu in a shrine underground where he died, and then they build a museum around it, around Gort or Gnut. Whoa. And that's pretty much where the movie portion of it ends, because what happens is this is years or months later, people are still coming to this exhibit every day, and they're like, we're wondering when we're going to hear back, and they just keep hope, and they hope that whoever these people were that came are going to understand the mistake. And so they're all worried, but they're in awe, and they're it's very reverential kind of to go see this robot. And Klaatu was murdered by or shot by not somebody from the military, but a religious fanatic that was worried that he was Satan. So that it's a religious zealot that kills Klaatu.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, and what happens is and the other thing that's odd, but they don't really do much with it, but we're already on other planets in this future. There's members of the human race all over the solar system, because they talk about people.
Like the future from with the museum and everything. Like, does it span like years?
No.
Like from when the incident happened?
No, the short story takes place over like course of 3 or 4 months. But
okay, so like when Gary Gnut, and Klaatu arrive, we're already somewhat advanced?
Yeah, we're already somewhat advanced. So
okay.
What happens is the rest of the story involves a reporter who's sent there by his newspaper as just sort of go see if you can find a new angle. We're kind of running out of story ideas for this robot thing, but maybe if you can cough something up. Because
it's been there a while. And
so the reporter's like, whatever, and he just kind of hangs out, but he starts to notice something. That a mark on the floor he saw the night before, or that a mark on the floor that wasn't there the night before, because Gort's foot has shifted like an inch, and it's now revealing a mark.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So he's like, that's weird.
So he's maybe moved at one point at night.
So the reporter watches him night after night and finds out that he's leaving the museum every night and going into the tomb of Klaatu, and he's trying to revive him. And then during the day, he returns.
Okay.
He returns back, and eventually some shit happens, and the reporter and him have to outrun some military people and get aboard the ship. And then they start this bargaining process, like Ganut says if you bring him Klaatu's body, he won't destroy any more of you. He just wants the body, and he wants the research materials you have. And that's pretty much what happens. And so basically this whole time Ganut has been trying to resurrect Klaatu. And
that's wild.
Finally Ganut takes off again, and he takes the human reporter with him, and there's a twist that at the end of the story
he takes off again. Like where does he take the reporter with him?
With him into space. Ganut.
Oh, okay.
Because what happens is he gets a recording of Klaatu's voice, one of the only ones that was made, and he thinks he can clone him from that. But the clone of Klaatu is imperfect because the voice recording was imperfect. So they have to do all this work to make him. It's really And then at the end, as they're blasting off, and the human's like, aren't you glad to have your master back? And Ganut turns to him and says, you don't understand, I am the master. And that's how it ends. In other words, you done fucked up, people. I've been waiting to bring him back to life so that I'm going to go and tell them what you've done. And so it's...
Yeah.
It's a little bit more ambiguous, but it's kind of also shit. Okay. This whole time,
it's like Gort's not the pet. Klaatu's the pet. Not pet, but you know what I mean?
Well, he was the ambassador. He was the...
Yeah.
And look what they did to him.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I have...
And it's the secret's out. It's not a secret because the rest of because Newt knows what's up.
Yeah.
And he's going to report back all of this.
At least that's what I got out of it. There is some differing opinions.
That's crazy.
And I'm sure other people that have read it will have a different... but I won't get into all that. And
Joe Dante in an interview said it was more like a Twilight Zone story.
Yes.
It was very much more like a Twilight Zone episode.
And I would say...
That sounds fascinating, though. That's cool.
So, yeah, it's a loose adaptation. And I would say that they're so different they can be enjoyed on their own that I don't think one really takes away from the other because they're so vastly different.
Because nothing added or anything added or taken away is only of itself and not comparable to the source. So you're not missing anything. You're only gaining.
Yeah.
But what's interesting, I think it's interesting that you said that it was like that the museum and that there's the monument because they parallel that in the movie when Klaatu takes Bobby actually takes Klaatu around. So because Klaatu wants to observe humanity,
Yeah.
And Bobby takes him to because they're in we didn't even mention the locale is Washington D.C.
Right.
Where the spaceship lands. So
I did say
he goes
that,
to. Oh, maybe I might not have heard.
Fine.
But anyway, so and Bobby's father was killed in the war, and so he's in Arlington.
Yeah.
So they go there and. Then the interesting thing you were talking about with the fact of the going to a monument is they go to see Lincoln's monument.
Yeah.
Which kind of parallels what you're talking. I mean, with the fact that there's a museum there and everything else. It's like, wow, that's kind of in the story, but completely not the same,
So I think a takeaway I have for the two different versions is the film is great. It's just an all-out sort of almost gothic at times classic, but it's also at the same time very much of its time because it's very much steeped in Cold War paranoia and but the story by kind of avoiding politics is a little bit more timely or timeless, I should say. It's kind of more of a timeless story because it eschews the politics of the time. whereas the movie doesn't. So that's kind of the takeaway I've got.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the fact that there's a lot of Christ imagery.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten to that because clearly it's a metaphor for Jesus.
Yeah.
In a way.
Absolutely, it is.
His name is Klaatu assumes the name Carpenter, and obviously as a nod to John Carpenter,
obviously
the Almighty, and with the resurrection, and it's like kind of like E.T. also, you know, like we've talked about that before. Even in the beginning, one of the English people, because when the spaceship is like cruising by everyone in the beginning before it lands. This is one of those things. It's probably like one of those fucking Room 213 Stanley Kubrick or whatever the fuck the room is in Shining and the documentary where it's like, oh, every little thing. But someone has made the connection that the British air traffic controller, when the spaceship buzzes them, says, "Holy Christmas!" Like it's supposed to be like another in joke to Jesus, being the Jesus story. So,
well, it's there, and but it's a lot of people have
totally
noted
there.
it, and there's even. And this one's up for dispute, but there's even a shot in the movie when the army finds him again after he's escaped, and they shoot him and he falls to the ground on the floor on the street.
Yeah,
he's kind of in the crucifix pose with bent legs.
Oh, really?
And outstretched, and it's not on screen for very long.
That's interesting.
And I've heard both sides of the debate that's you're seeing things, or else no, that was intentional. I don't know. I could find no record of Robert Smith ever confirming this. No, Robert Wise ever confirming this. So
Robert Smith,
if somebody out there
directed
knows
this movie,
if somebody out there knows if that was intentional, I have to I don't know, sometimes those things are just happy accidents, but you cannot escape the fact that this story is modeled after the nativity story, or not the nativity story, but the
Christ.
Boy, I'm way off on my holidays there. Yeah, it's the passion and
it's the Easter story.
The Easter story. That's what I was trying to think of. Mel Gibson. Thanks.
Yeah. There was no Easter. Gort's the Easter bunny.
Yeah, Gort's the Easter bunny, and so that's why it's because you referenced that line a while ago about like. When she says, "Do you have power over life and death?" and he says,
powers, yeah.
He says, "No, I leave that in the hands of the Almighty." Okay, is he talking about his dad?
Yeah,
because
exactly. Can't have that.
So who knows? All I know is this movie is heads and tails above most of the other genre stuff we've discussed on this show. And that's not to say a lot of those movies are bad. I'm saying this one is a superlative gem of the decade, and probably
and I
of
hate
all
to say
time.
things. And I hate to say things like this because I don't. I mean, I live and breathe my life about genre movies, and I don't put them in any kind of, ranking below a good drama. But this is one of those movies where. And I hate to say elevated, but it's not just a great science fiction movie. It's one of the greatest movies we have. It's very good.
Robert Wise was a
just amazing.
very talented director that is often overlooked, I think. I mean, even just science fiction alone, he delivered 3 indisputable classics as far as I'm concerned. And that's this one, Star Trek: The Motion Picture, and The Andromeda Strain. And not only that, he made one of the best horror films of all time, The Haunting. And
I forgot. Yeah, totally.
He even did Audrey Rose, which has a following.
Is amazing.
So he could, but then again, he'd go and do musicals. He'd go and do a Western noir.
He'd go do something crazy. Yeah.
So he's kind of
he did the Andromeda.
Yeah, Andromeda Strain, man.
Andromeda Strain. But he directed, like, even outside of those genre movies, he's got some of the biggest heavy hitters in, like, just straight drama. Like what we talked about West Side Story, but like The Sand Pebbles with Steve McQueen, and I mean he did the Hindenburg, which is that He did a disaster movie. That's the one with George C. Scott.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the guy did everything, and like he did Run Silent, Run Deep,
Rooftops.
And Rooftops. Can you believe that? Rooftops.
I think.
You don't get much better than that.
His last movie, I think, was in 2000, wasn't it?
Oh,
it was a Peter Falk made-for-TV movie or something. Yeah, here it is. Storm
in the Summer or something.
With Andrew McCarthy and Natasha Kinski and Ruby Dee. Wow. And Peter Falk.
And another movie. He did a noir movie called The Setup.
Yep.
But one that he also directed, I forget sometimes. I don't even know if we mentioned this, but you and I are huge fans of this. But The Body Snatcher with Val Lewton.
Yep.
He directed that, and that's cream of the crop as well.
Well, and he trained. Didn't he train under Val Lewton? Because that's how he got the job on Curse of the Cat People, which is another one. And that's
the next one I was going to mention.
Yeah.
That was the next one because I really like that movie. As much as the original too. I love the fairy tale aspect of it. It's a weird sequel. It's a bizarre sequel.
Yeah.
It almost isn't a sequel. But it plays with some of the theme, the characters and in a ghostly way to the second one, but it almost presents like a completely different story.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful. Like, yeah, Robert Wise, probably one of the greatest directors we've ever had.
Yeah.
Like, he's so amazing.
Yeah, like he's not really I would say he's never really put out a bad film, but I've never seen all of his movies, but I could say out of all the ones I have seen, I've never disliked a single one.
They're all in the park home runs, like, yeah. Quite amazing career that guy had, and long career.
And that's one of those things that I go back to sometimes where I talk about how some of the best genre films are made by directors that don't normally do that genre. And, kind of like Jonathan Demme made one horror film. And it's a masterpiece.
It's only one of the greatest in the last.
William Friedkin makes The Exorcist, and the only other horror film he ever really does is The Guardian. But I mean, man, that
which
one time, and Peter Bogdanovich does Targets, and sometimes you just get these directors who just dabble in the genres, but they treat it like any other movie, and it somehow just elevates it because they treat it with as much respect as they do their other genre movies, be they dramas or westerns or romances. It just feels like
the classic like that is Hitchcock.
Yeah,
because he didn't really make horror movies.
No.
He made, I would say, 2, maybe 3.
3
but,
if you want to count
Psycho,
Frenzy.
I count Frenzy.
Yeah.
And I would say The Birds is a monster
Psycho.
movie kind of. And Psycho. But Psycho is just like, Psycho is not much different than any 70s cannibal movie, whatever. It's like, well, they're all based off of Ed Gein, so yeah. But, Psycho is fantastic.
But what I mean is it just seemed like they don't, by not acknowledging the genre, they were able to sort of transcend it a little bit.
I think they're the only ones that can do it because they're not so close to it. They're not as close to it as like a genre director.
Of course, I could be talking up my space butt.
Yeah. We might not know what the black hole we're talking about.
Yeah, Robert Wise may have been like, what the fuck, dudes? I love horror movies. That's all I ever wanted to make.
Maniac is his favorite movie.
Did you ever see West Side Story? It's a horror film. Did you ever see Sound of Music? It's really a horror film when you look at it.
Yeah. Robert Wise of the Living Dead. I don't know. Yeah, he loves all that shit. Oh. Yeah. So the only other thing I got really is like it's not even that important, but they did make a radio play of this like probably about 10 years after the movie came out, like 10, 15 years. And just they just kind of redo the story for radio, and it's like, oh, is that different? And it's like, not at all. They're just reading the script.
Yeah.
They're just rereading the script. And Michael Rennie actually plays Klaatu, and the guy who plays Bobby Benson returns. And I was listening to it. I was listening to it going, man, this kid's, he's older. He's like a teen doing it. And it's like, that's interesting. They kind of made him a little older. But, I mean, he's delivering it pretty good like that kid. And then I look and it's the same kid. He's just like 10 years older,
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's cool. It's a good listen. But it's literally an hour and a half. I mean, it clocks in beat for beat the script pretty much.
Yeah.
I like that Robin Wise. I mean, he really tried to make it a realistic movie too. They really had a message they wanted to say about the movie. Unfortunately, but as with everything, but unfortunately it somehow is a little perverted into like being the opposite end of what that message is, because some people argue it's a very liberal movie, and then other people but I can understand where they're coming from. The fact that it comes down to a superpower organization that is out in space, and we're supposed to relinquish our control over to it to choose to have it govern us throughout the universe, with no exception, is kind of fascist. But with any good message, I mean, it's just like any argument. You can distort it any way you want, and it doesn't mean that was the initial message they were trying to convey. It was more of like a pro-UN movie that, yeah, the UN should step in and take out some of these violent people, and we really need to stop fighting all the time.
Yeah.
And this is how we do it. But at the same time, you can push that into the other way. And I mean that's why we've never gotten any further in some of these social issues that we have, because we're always so busy arguing about the differences. We'd rather argue about how different everything is and not meet in the middle and try and understand the similarities of why each side has gotten to those points, and it's kind of like with this movie, it's like, well, yeah, you can say there's a little bit of a fascist statement in it, but I will not, for the life of me, believe that was the intent, or that there was some sort of coded malicious undermining of their, that's just liberal communist talk or fascist talk. You know what I mean? It's like, no, it's just, the heart's in the right place and trying to end violence. It's not about, just, trying to get us to turn our lives over to the supreme policeman of the universe, even though that is literally what they are, but that's life. You have to find the good in each side and go forward in the, of what navigate through messages.
I think the politics of this film are very muddled. Like it's definitely of its time, but there is kind of a stupidity in the logic of, if you murder someone, we'll murder you. If you go to war, we'll go to war with you. Like it's sort of that retribution justice rather than restorative justice, which would be the opposite end of, we'll guide you, but we're not going to punish you for, you'll be punished, but rehabilitated. So it's very muddled in that he comes as a supposed messenger of peace, which is what I was saying earlier, why I think the story itself, the short story or whatever, is a little more timeless, because it doesn't discuss the politics of its time. Even though it was written during World War II, it doesn't really have. I mean, it's there. It's just not as overt.
It poses questions rather than tries to give answers. But Klaatu says that shit good. He says that shit good at the end. Well-meaning though. Yeah, I totally understand. Because when I'm listening to it, I do, and I love that ending. I love when Klaatu basically because if I look at it like, okay, Klaatu is just telling everyone, hey, motherfuckers, shape up, because we aren't going to put up. Like where I give it a pass in that messaging of, is it, turning over to the superpower and the fascist statements of it. Where I give it its leeway is in the fact of where Klaatu says, we will leave you in peace. Like they do leave it up to us to kind of straighten ourselves out. They won't interfere, which has a little more of a freedom aspect to it. Like basically you can look at it this way. They're just nervous if we are getting that too big for our britches, we pose a danger to the rest of the fucking galaxy. Because like we were worried about with the atomic bomb, would we have set the atmosphere on fire and where would this destruction end as it went out further into space? What kind of ramifications would it cause? And I can appreciate the movie's ending on that level of, man, Klaatu is the man, and he's just like, man, straighten up or we're gonna kick your fucking ass. Like you can look at him like he's the good jock coming to the aid of the nerd that puts the stoner jerk down, like in those 80s movies, who's picking on Arnie Cunningham, like that kind of shit. They're still the jocks, but he's the good jock. Klaatu and them are the good jocks, So it's interesting to look at that politically, but
of further interest might be that the story, Farewell to the Master, was not only adapted twice into film, this and the remake that was done in 2008, but it was also adapted by Marvel Comics in the World's Unknown series in 1973.
Wow.
And that one had the writer's blessing. And I've never seen it. That would be interesting.
Neither. I'd love to see what the drawings look like. Who drew it? Does it say who drew the comic? Wow.
But
holy shit.
So that's interesting. And then the movie itself has several awards, like several accolades that some of these I'm just going to read them to you as they are presented to me, because they're basically going to tell you the same exact thing I would tell you, except better punctuated and more succinctly. So the AFM loves this movie, or AFI, I should say, American Film Institute, because they have selected it for preservation in the Library of Congress. So that, as you know, if you've been listening to this show, is what I consider the highest honor. Because that means even if Gort ever does come here for real and destroys us, the movie about him will be protected and saved for future generations if there are any. So in 2001, it was ranked 82 on their list, 100 Years, 100 Thrills. And yeah, I know, right? And the day the Earth just...
that movie's a thrill a minute.
The American Film Institute did a top 10, which is the best 10 films in 10 classic American film genres. And on that list, Day the Earth Stood Still was the 5th best film in science fiction. That was voted on by over 1,500 people in the creative community. They didn't ask us, but I probably would have agreed with them. And it was also on their list, 100 Years, 100 Heroes and Villains for Klaatu. 100 Years, 100 Movie Quotes for the famous Klaatu Nick line. And AFI's 100 Years of Film Scores.
Awesome.
And the New York Times itself has called it one of the best 1,000 movies ever made. And...
agreed.
That's not it, Rick. Yeah, you ready?
Wow.
It won a few more awards. Well, it won 2 more awards. Or it won 1 more award, was nominated for 2 more. God damn it. Okay, so surprisingly, it was not nominated for any Oscars, which I was kind of shocked. I had always thought the score was. I always thought Bernard Herrmann's score had been nominated for an Oscar, but apparently it wasn't. And so for that may have been a Mandela effect in my head. But it was, however, nominated for Best Original Score at the Golden Globes. in 1952, so that might be where I was getting confused.
Okay.
And it did win a Golden Globe. And the category it won in is Best Film Promoting International Understanding. I'm not kidding. That is an actual award.
Wow.
That they gave this movie.
That's a weird award. But you know what? Rightly so. It rightly deserves that award, no matter how weird that sounds. But yeah.
And just for shits and giggles, I have no idea what this association is, but they are called the Online Film and Television Association. And they, in 2010, they inducted this film into its Hall of Fame. So if anybody knows what that's all about, cool. There's another interesting thing about Day the Earth Stood Still, or another little award it won, that this is an award I had never heard of, and it only ran between 1979 and 1985, and it was called the Balrog Awards. And it was the Science Fiction Hall of Fame. It was inducted into their Science Fiction Hall of Fame. But the Balrogs were basically given out to science fiction and fantasy films during those years, and books. And so the Balrogs, this was the Balrog Awards Committee inducted into their Hall of Fame, which apparently in 1985 went defunct. So don't say this movie did not get its fair share of accolades, although I think it was snubbed for an Oscar. Because Herman's score is so trend-setting,
I agree.
And so many movies would ape it, and Danny Elfman would homage it to great lengths in the Mars Attacks score. It's just, we know theremin music. If theremin music is associated with space, it's because of the score to this movie. So the fact, that every top 10 list you ever look at of film scores has got Day the Earth Stood Still on it. So I'm surprised the Oscars ignored it. That's really weird.
Yeah, they've always been weird.
Yes
when it comes
and no.
To scores. The scores that you think would have won or at least been nominated weren't at all, and yet there's still a score that you're humming every day that it's, how do you judge one piece of music over another? It is kind of hard to,
I know what you mean, though, because I was recently looking at some online lists of, best film scores of all time, what critics and stuff say, and it's kind of interesting because, this one's on there, of course, and then The Last of the Mohicans is now held up as one of the greatest film scores of all time. And I know we were obsessed with it when it came out, but it didn't get any nominations whatsoever. So I remember us thinking that was a big, how the hell did that not get nominated? Because they use that in so many trailers. They use that in so many montages. And, it is. It's
it's a great score. It's so good. I'd say it's the best thing about that movie, really. I mean, it really kind of married the style and imagery and action of that movie.
There are some scores on there that have kind of been elevated to classic status that were sort of ignored when they came out. So it is kind of interesting to look at lists like that.
One thing about the score, too, I don't know if you noticed this, but... And I never know what the actual name is of the original piece of music that 2001
Zarathustra.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Sprack,
I didn't
Zach
even
Sprack,
pronounce it right, but I was closer than you.
Okay. But Day the Earth Stood Still shares the same notes because after the but then there's that and if you take those three notes, it's the same notes as 2001, which is kind of outrageous, which is not the first time that Bernard Herrmann's been ripped off for three notes in a movie, because Star Wars does it. with Psycho. Norman Bates' theme is that.
Yeah.
And that's the when they are in the compartments, hiding in the compartments on the Millennium Falcon. It's like directly lifted, which when I started to realize, because there was that the soundtrack show, fucking phenomenal podcast that I can't remember the guy's name, but the guy who does, I'll put it in here, but he does that podcast, and he broke it down, the Psycho score, and that Norman's theme motif, that 3-note, when you go back and watch Psycho, like that thing is all over that movie in little areas, and it is one of the coolest moments. Like I think Psycho is one of the greatest movies ever made. I just love it, and I could listen to that movie every day. But like just where he's walking around and trying to bury the bodies, there's so much of that little Norman theme throughout the movie in various pitches, and it's amazing. But yeah, there's another 3. It's not like the 2001 stole it from him, because Bernard Herrmann, that's a classic piece of music. But just the idea that a 3-note motif was taken from him and used in Star Wars is just kind of interesting to me with that. But it is the same notes as 2001. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. One thing I did like is we keep, since we prefaced all this by discussing the flying saucer craze of 1947 and how by the time these movies were coming out, that had sort of almost become a joke in the public. It's even in Abbott and Costello meet The Invisible Man, they say, "Wow, what is a flying saucer day?" It was kind of so at one point in Day the Earth Stood Still, it's interesting. Yeah. When the ship is landing and they're watching news reports, and one of the reporters says, "This is not a flying saucer scare. This is something real." He says this.
Yes. I thought that was great.
But
I thought that was great.
Kind of like what they would have to say at that time, because it would have been such a joke at that point that.
Yeah, it would. When I watched it recently and saw that part, I did think of you because of that point. And I'm like, oh, there it is, another nod to it. Because I do like the urgency. Is like, this is not another flying saucer story. Yeah. Like, they had been reporting these hoaxes and people had gotten used to them. And it's like, this is for real. And it's kind of dope. It's kind of a sweet, like, oh, shit. And the cool thing about the score is it's very docu-style. The score is light throughout the movie. It's only bombastic in those certain parts with Gort, but other than that, it's just very under the surface, and it's very documentary style. But I even like, and it's just this little moment, but I love the guy running through the streets going, "It landed! It landed! Did you see? It landed!" And I love that part. And one thing is crazy. It reminds me of that guy in Something in the Mist took John Lee, and he's running into the store. But one thing I noticed, I was really watching, like, studying the Blu-ray in that scene where it lands and that ship. And you look at the shot, and for a minute I was like, Is Klaatu gonna park this shit on top of some people? But you can see just as they cross out from underneath is when it lands. Like, I'm thinking about that dude right there. It's like, that spaceship was maybe like 8 feet away from his head for a moment. You know what I mean? Because they barely make it out from underneath it like ants. But you never see that until you get the Blu-ray. It's like, oh my God, it's so clear. And I mean, how good is that effect, too?
The effects hold up really well.
That's a real shot. It's a real landscape.
They're obviously of their time, but they're
it's really great.
Head and tails above their time. They were the cream of the crop.
I've got good news for you, though. There is word from a few months ago that it was reported that Fox is once again doing another remake of The Exploits of Klaatu. Yeah, they're doing another. No, they'll just call it that, though, because that's the way they name movies now. It'll just be called Klaatu.
And let me guess, it's a grim, dark prequel about his origin. God.
No, yeah, exactly. No, but they're remaking Day the Earth Stood Still, or it was reported. Guess who they're talking to for Klaatu?
Adam Driver. Oh,
No.
let me guess. Chris Hemsworth.
Nope.
Liam Hemsworth.
Oh, you were so close.
Captain America.
No, you
Chris
were close.
Pratt.
The first name. No, the first
Chris
name.
Pratt?
Oh, you're close. Yes.
As Klaatu? No.
Yes. Oh my god. Yeah. Oh, I know.
And I'll be honest,
That's
I've got
terrible.
nothing against the guy really, but
Like-
no, like
No, but the second you put him in as Klaatu, you know exactly what the kind of dude things
it's almost
they're
like
gonna do
10
in
years
that
ago they
movie,
would have
you know.
Yeah, like 10 years
What
ago
is
it
he
would have
gonna
been Seth
be,
Rogen.
Star-Lord?
Like what? No, that makes no
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. No, it would have been Jack
Will
Black.
Ferrell.
Yeah, no, can you imagine that? The space dock, this doors open up and it's all creepy and you just hear echoing in from the space capsule. Just like Jack Black Jack Black does cartwheels and comes out and goes, "Hey son, woo!"
And the song All Star drops on the soundtrack. Hey now.
Yeah. No, only if KG is Gort.
Directed by Mick G?
Comes out.
Oh, yeah.
No, KG, the Kyle Gass. He's
Yeah,
Gort from Tenacious D.
I would rather have that
He
movie
just
than whatever this
stands
Chris
there.
Pratt thing is. Like, honestly, I was one of those few people that actually could kind of see him as an Indiana Jones type character, but not Klaatu.
Oh, not me. No.
I don't get it.
Yeah, even worse.
But
oh, man. Yeah. But you know what? Like, odds are we're going to listen to this like 5 years from now and be like,
Yeah.
hey, did you realize that Chris Pratt Day the Earth Stood Still movie never did come out?
Like in the late 90s or the early 90s when they announced in an issue of Fangoria that James Cameron was going to remake Forbidden Planet after The Abyss.
Yeah. Yep. Or it was James Cameron was going to do Planet of the Apes with Arnold. You know, that was a rumor for a while. I often think of those like sequels that never made. Like the one I always think of, and I know
Gina
you remember
Davis
this.
in
Flies.
Flies.
Yep. Flies. That it was Gina Davis was coming back for the third Fly movie, and it was going to be called Flies. Yeah. I want to we gotta have Dr. Botfried try and plot
Where that took
wormholes
place.
and see if we can't find the reality that
All right.
Flies
We
came
can
out,
try
because I
that.
want to watch
I doubt
that
it'll
shit.
happen.
But yeah, Day of the Earth Stood Still.
Oh,
What do you
yeah,
give it? This is the big question.
Oh, I give it like it's hard to say because I want to just say 5 stars because it's kind of unimpeachable, but yet I think every time I watch it, little cracks start to show that are a little harder for me to ignore. But so I'm probably gonna say
I can
4.5.
understand
Or maybe just a real solid 4. Whereas like the first time I saw it, I would have said 5.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
You know, but there are some things about it that are just kind of like, to me now, that just don't make sense. It takes a little bit of, but then again, at the same time, I don't care because it's just so great. So,
yeah.
So
what does it mean to you
movie,
still? You know, like
maybe knock it down a bit because the
you're gonna go
politics are so
4.5.
muddled that it's
all right.
Nowadays just kind of hard to overlook that because it's like I don't know, that doesn't make any sense, but.
I am gonna overlook it because it's not really their fault that time has affected it this way, but I still think the overall message is great.
3.
I think the movie's fantastic. I'm giving it 5 stars. It'll be our first 5-star movie. Yeah. The only thing there's only one drawback, and that for me is there is that weird scene when Gort first shows up and all the crowd runs away, and they speed up the film, you know, and it's kind of goofy because all of a sudden it's friggin' Buster Keaton for a second. But I understand why they just couldn't get the extras to move and make it look urgent to get away from them. So they had a really hard time with it. And you know, I'm saying this. Okay, you want to redo things. You want to like make Ewoks blink. You want to like change movies. You want to add things and with AI and deep fake shit. I'll start a petition. Fix the sped up crowd running away from Day of the Earth, because we have the capabilities now. I'm sure that is a click, and AI can make. If Peter Jackson can bring people back from World War I to look as clear as that, we can fix the sped up crowd, and Day of the Earth stood still.
I am leaving soon, and you will forgive me if I speak bluntly. The universe grows smaller every day, and the threat of aggression by any group, anywhere, can no longer be tolerated. There must be security for all, or no one is secure. Now, this does not mean giving up any freedom, except the freedom to act irresponsibly. Your ancestors knew this when they made laws to govern themselves and hired policemen to enforce them. We of the other planets have long accepted this principle. We have an organization for the mutual protection of all planets and for the complete elimination of aggression. The test of any such higher authority is, of course, the police force that supports it. For our policemen, we created a race of robots. Their function is to patrol the planets in spaceships like this one and preserve the peace. In matters of aggression, we have given them absolute power over us. This power cannot be revoked. At the first sign of violence, they act automatically against the aggressor. The penalty for provoking their action is too terrible to risk. The result is we live in peace, without arms or armies, secure in the knowledge that we are free from aggression and war, free to pursue more profitable enterprises. Now, we do not pretend to have achieved perfection, but we do have a system, and it works. I came here to give you these facts. It is no concern of ours how you run your own planet. But if you threaten to extend your violence, this Earth of yours will be reduced to a burned-out cinder. Your choice is simple. Join us and live in peace, or pursue your present course and face obliteration. We shall be waiting for your answer. The decision rests with you. Gort Baringa.
This is Rick, and on behalf of the crew of the Lexaproteus 4, I just wanted to say thank you. The importance of you listening to our show is of extraordinary magnitude. So please like, share, talk about it to your friends, post a comment, anything you would normally do on social medias. You have our gratitude. If you write a review, we'll read it on the air. And once again, smash, hit, whatever the kids say, all the like buttons, and help us defeat Algorithm, the Dark Lord of the universe.
Tune in next time when our movie is The Whip Hand.
You know that I'm the cream of the crop.